talk about today.
You have anything for us today?
No, I was thinking about that. I used to come up with like current affairs or something, except I don't want to talk about anything that heavy. So you guys have to come up. I'm gonna say, you know what? You guys are in the media. What's going on?
You ever see the show Current Affairs?
Yeah, I don't.
It's like Access Hollywood.
Yeah, so that would be a no then.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Injury news. It sounds like you guys have some stuff going on with Barkov, Kulikov.
Well, if you come tomorrow, your story will be different. No, they're fine. They're just getting something worked on, and we know that if we can get them just enough time, so everybody skates tomorrow, unless somebody got hurt today. Tune in.
Is that the nice thing about, having this time off?
Yeah.
As opposed to last year where you guys were sitting there waiting for an opponent, where now you and Eddie
Yeah.
are kind of on the same schedule.
Same schedule. You want fairness. You know what? In truth, you want both teams healthy. You want both fairly reasonably similar schedules, and away they go. It's probably the perfect amount of time off. You can take a couple of days, then you can push a little bit in the middle, and then get ready for the game. So we are as healthy as you can be as a hockey club. Both those guys will be skating full on tomorrow.
Just year over year, I guess, maybe knocking on wood, have you thought about just how nice it is comparatively to last year when you went into the final?
Oh. And then we went into the final with an unknown because we lost Lusteran in the last game, late in the last game. So you go from this is what our team looks and we think, and then you step into the next game and it happens to be the final, but you don't know what your team looks like then because he's such an important piece. Yeah, but you know what? That's all this part because neither team is necessarily getting healthy to the final, right? You're here today. Nobody falls off a curb. It's just those are all the risks of being alive. So we're healthy. We're good.
You guys have a 6-hour flight each way to Edmonton.
Yeah.
I've been kind of asking everybody, what do you like to do on the flight? Are you working? Are you sleeping? Are you watching TV or movies?
The first two. I used to hate flying, like absolute full-blown sweat, agonize about before getting on the plane, and then you just after a while you just don't care, right? Like it's normal. So I can sleep on a plane pretty good, but it's the best place to get work done. You can watch as much hockey as you can stand on an airplane and read a little bit too. Try to get some sleep.
Do you do anything these days away from hockey?
Nothing.
Like, is it just wait to sleep
Yeah.
hockey?
All I do is try to get myself in a place that I can go to work the next day. Like you try to get enough sleep. Relax for sure, but I don't. We'll go for walks and sometimes find a restaurant. A lot of times just stay at home. Hang out with my cats, it's true. Grown man. No. How special these playoff runs are. And during the season, it's a bit of a grind, but you kind of have to force yourself there to do other things so it's not your entire life. I do not have a healthy work-life balance, but in some ways it's okay in the playoffs, right? You're not supposed to. So I watch hockey every night. You got to come up with something on the off days now, but that's okay.
Coach, you just spoke to Nico Mikkola for a while. I know you mentioned when he first came in that he played exactly the kind of game that you guys want to play. And now as you've gotten this deep into a playoff run, his first season with the team, how important is a big, sturdy, durable, defensive-minded guy who does all the little things?
That can get across the line. He can just close. He was an interesting guy, but that's all. It goes back to Bill finding these guys because we were watching video on him when he was in St. Louis and thought that would be good, but it might take a ways to get him. Couldn't make the trade for him. Watched him then in New York. And both those teams at the time played a different defensive game than we did. And the kind of thought was, if we can take him out of that and put him into something that's probably built more to his style, he could excel. And I thought he'd be good, but I didn't know that he'd be this good.
I know you say you don't understand goalies, but I was wondering if you ever wondered what Bob is doing before a practice. If you asked Rob about that, or you didn't care, or didn't care to understand, or how would you?
Some questions you don't want to ask because then you may have to form an opinion. I don't know when the first time I saw it, but I'm leaving the rink after the pregame and I'm heading home and I look down the hallway and he's Olympic lifting in the hallway. He's playing that night. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I don't need an opinion on that. And it's really important that sometimes you just shut up and keep your eyes closed, keep moving. So that's kind of, Sergey is, an intelligent man and a very focused man. And he has designed a program that allows him to be great at this point in his career. And while there has to be a certain amount of rigidity in that, there hasn't been so much that he hasn't been able to change and morph and maybe learn. So he's designed a program with an eye on continuing to learn and change that program. But we got a lot of very committed athletes in there that work very, very hard, and their nutrition's right now this, but I don't know that I've met somebody like Sergey. And I bet you I know about 10% of it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of the stuff we never see. He goes home, he's got a whole program for everything. To see somebody that committed, that's inspiring, right? When you're rolling out of bed in the morning, you don't feel like doing the video, you're kind of going, well, Bob's probably already got 3 hours in. We're working on something, I better get to the rink.
Is he a quirky goalie? You've had other goalies. Is he a normal goalie?
No, I don't. I find him to be a peaceful man. Very interesting. We were in Vancouver last year. Weather wasn't bad. It was a little bit chilly out, and things weren't going great at that time. And we just went for a walk together. I talked very little bit about hockey, but because I had a little bit of a Russian culture life experience, just asked him questions. He's an incredibly interesting guy. If you could read a transcript of that conversation, you would think the other guy was 57 and I was, whatever, 30-ish. This is good. Very wise man. Old soul. He's had some experience. Very sophisticated in some ways in understanding life. So really interesting conversation. His part was. Mine wasn't particularly.
What's a snippet of that the transcript read?
Oh, no, I mean, it was him telling me about growing up and what his life was like there, because I was interested in having a little bit of an idea of what it's like there, and that was all. It is an incredible life experience. Those of us who were born and raised in North America, you don't get to see some of the challenges that a guy like Sergey would have had to have gone through daily to become great, and he's done it. So after the season's over, I recommend it to any of you. He's a very interesting guy.
Aaron as well, that story about him and his grandfather, I'm sure you've read it.
Parts of you hear about it, right? Anecdotally, there's a lot of people that have dealt with challenges to get to greatness, and they work hard at it. He's earned it.
Speaking of, since we're on Bobrovsky, and if you don't understand goaltending, imagine that's me, I'm writing on this end, but he's 35 and sort of reinvented, I don't want to say reinvented, but in the past year, he's considered one of the top goalies in the league again. And what has changed?
I don't know, right? I wasn't here early on. I do think that I think our team got better. I think that has a lot to do with it, right? And there might be I don't know if an inflection point or a threshold when you can give a guy just a little better chance to make that save. Then confidence starts to build daily and things come back. So we would say that if we know Sergey, he is very committed. He's not casual at anything that he does. So the losses and the goals, he would certainly look at them, carry them, try to learn from them. And if there's a lot of them, may get overwhelmed by them. I don't know about that. I know that he had done everything that he could do to be great, and I think that the team in front of him improved, and the two of them kind of went hand in hand we're a lot better hockey team with the way he's played. You go back to him coming back into the Boston series, but it was true even before that, right? He got hurt is what happened, and then but from the start of this year, he's been very, very good.
I mean, the Marchand save on the breakaway is something they still talk about.
I still, you know what, it's funny, they still talk about that. And for me, I was fine until Ekblad went to sweep it. And that's when my heart went in my throat. Like, it's going to just the speed of it, he's going down, he's going to go 5-hole, right? He's going to bunt that thing in the net. But he's made some big saves.
Coach, obviously there's still a round left, but for post-OEL, this is the farthest they've ever been. They both played over 1,000 games in the NHL. This is why they came here, was to get in series like this and moments like this. Just what extra energy do you get from those guys, especially maybe even during a week like this? 'Cause I imagine both those guys are on cloud nine right now.
Yeah. So when you come to the when they come to the team, what you just said is true. We got a pretty good team. Both different. One signed off injury, and one is kind of that veteran trade guy who's well established in terms of leadership and character. But what's good, and I'm going to speak for them. The special part of this year clearly is playing in June. But that's not what's most special about here. It's having it, especially for OEL, having a year like this in your hockey life. And he may have had phenomenal times other places, but you guys come to practice every day, you see it, right? He's worked hard. He's in a room full of men, and people that he can interact with. He's got tons of friends. He's part of it. And he also knows he's not playing another 15 years, right? You're on the back nine. He might be on the 10th hole. I mean, he's got lots of hockey left in him, but he's not on the front nine anymore. So you cherish that a lot harder.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
I don't think you cherish something harder. You cherish it more deeply.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. George wants to ask you one more.
Sure. I